In 1987, a U.S. military recon team was sent into the hills of West Virginia, near a decommissioned Cold War facility known only as Site Echo. They never came back. All except one, Staff Sergeant William Bill Carter. He was found 3 days later, walking barefoot along a Forest Service road, eyes wide, skin cold to the touch. He didn't speak. He didn't blink. He just stared. For 36 years, Bill never said a word. That is, until Dr. Amanda Reyes, a VA psychiatrist in Virginia, picked up his case. Young, determined, and patient, she tried everything: hypnosis, EMDR, even music from the 80s. It was an old Springsteen song that finally broke him. He whispered one word: humming. Amanda leaned forward. What was humming? His voice cracked like rusted metal. The walls were humming, like they were alive. And the story began to unfold. The mission was routine at first: confirm the facility was secure and empty. It was buried deep beneath the Appalachian Ridge, built during the Cuban Missile Crisis, then sealed up in the 70s. No one had been inside in over a decade, until Bill and his team broke the seal. Inside, it was colder than outside. Lights didn't work. Air was still. The further they went, the worse it got. Scratches on the walls, like fingernails on steel, half-eaten rations, a smell no one could explain. Then they reached Sublevel 6 and found the room. It wasn't on any map. Concrete walls, but something was pulsing, like a heartbeat under the floor. In the center, strange, human-shaped impressions molded into the cement, arms stretched, mouths open, eyes closed. One of the soldiers muttered, "Jesus, what is this? A tomb." Then the lights flickered on. The humming started, and the eyes began to open. Bill ran. He never looked back. He didn't remember the screams, just the humming and the eyes. Now, all these years later, something's changed. Last week, Site Echo pinged the Pentagon's satellite system. Power, movement, doors unlocking from the inside. No team was sent in. But a private company, a defense contractor, was hired to investigate. Dr. Reyes tried to warn them. "Don't turn on the lights," she told them. "If the walls hum, it's already too late." For 50 years, Thomas LaPierre had not spoken a single word. Doctors called it catatonia, the result of trauma from the war. The Vietnam War had eaten many men from the inside out, but Thomas hadn't just seen war. He'd seen something else, something no one believed. His son, David, had grown up knowing his father only as a silent statue, seated in a worn chair at the VA psychiatric hospital, his eyes always wide, always watching someplace no one else could see. But this year, something changed. Dr. Alex Halvorsen, a young psychiatrist with more empathy than most, had taken a special interest in Thomas. After months of coaxing, music therapy, even showing him old photos from his unit, something cracked. The first word Thomas said in 50 years was red. Then more. Red eyes. Night. They came. And eventually the whole story spilled out in a low, gravelly whisper like a voice dragged from the grave. It was 1975. His platoon had been ordered to move under cover of darkness through dense jungle in Quang Nam Province. He was the only one equipped with a pair of experimental U.S. Army infrared night vision goggles, blood-red lenses that turned the night into a sea of shifting heat. They set out under the canopy, and that's when he saw them. Not Viet Cong, not people, things. Twisted, long-limbed silhouettes moving through the trees, too fast, Too silent, too many. His platoon laughed, joked, smoked, never seeing what he saw. Then came the screams, not human screams. The kind that rip apart the silence like claws on wet flesh. They were gone in minutes, torn apart, dragged into the jungle. He fired his M16 until the magazine clicked empty. Then another. But the goggles, he couldn't take them off. He had to see. And when one of the demons stood inches from his face, grinning with teeth like obsidian needles, he finally understood. The goggles weren't just showing heat, they were showing truth. The last words he heard before blacking out were, "No one will ever believe you." Thomas woke up stateside. Everyone thought it was survivor's guilt, psychosis, trauma. No one believed him. Until now. The doctor nodded, unsure but polite. David sat silently, pale as chalk. "I kept them," Thomas said, his voice shaken. "They work. They always worked." From beneath his hospital bed, he retrieved an old canvas-wrapped bundle. Untying it, he handed the goggles to Dr. Halverson with trembling hands. "These still see," he said. "Don't look unless you're ready." After the paperwork was signed, Thomas was officially discharged. David wheeled his father out into the fading sun, tears in his eyes. Later that night, alone in his office, Dr. Halverson couldn't resist. He held up the goggles, chuckling nervously. 50 years of silence, all for nothing, he muttered, slipping them over his eyes. The room turned red. And in the far corner, where shadows had once been empty, something moved. It grinned and waved.